All right, welcome everybody to Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon brought to you by the Global Microsoft Community. I, I'm Lalit Mohan and I work with Allegiant as Digital Workplace Specialist. And I feel truly honored to present today the strength of the modern SharePoint and Power Automate to digitalize some of the day-to-day business problems that we been helping our customer, our business units and department and functions. And as I told, right, this is more like to give a quick introduction about the innovations that is happening on Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. So I will be covering that in a quick minutes. So please mark your calendar for the next conference that is out. So it covers all your Microsoft 365, SharePoint, and Power Platform. Earlier we call it like SharePoint conference, but this time they have just changed the name. It's called Global Microsoft Community and Microsoft 365 Conference. And thank you all for our generous sponsors who sponsors this conference. I couldn't be thankful for them. And going forward, let me quickly introduce myself. As I told, I work with Allegiant as a digital workspace specialist. And one of the unique thing that I have done in the past is helping our students who is actually a university student for engineering. Uh, the engineering department, and I brought them into the Microsoft 365 experience, and all professors and students are really working out with the Microsoft teams, and they're probably doing their vivas, interviews, and all stuff in Microsoft team. That's a quite good thing that it's happening in students and professors, live in during this pretty tough time. And then coming to my skills, I design lots of portal solutions, the knowledge management, intranet strategy, design and architecture of modern SharePoint, which includes Power Platform as well. And I'm from a capital of India, New Delhi, and I speak English and Hindi both. Let me start with a brief overview of Allegiant. At Allegiant, we help keep people safe and secure where they live, work, and visit. And we specialize in security brand, the doorway, and beyond. Everything that include from residential and commercial locks to door closer, exit devices to workforce productivity system. And our prominent security brands are sold in almost 130 countries across the globe. And the reason why I'm probably building this quick story is that whatever demos that I have prepared today, we have supported all that all these functions, departments, our production units, manufacturing units, and we use Microsoft Teams as a collaboration transformation, and we use modern SharePoint as a modern communication platform in the company, and we use Microsoft Power Platform to infuse the business process and solutions that include Power Apps, Automate, Microsoft Virtual Agent. So in today's session, I'm going to quickly cover in next few minutes about the first demo, which is on Forms SharePoint MS Team, which is awesome, right? That we can take it to any level, right? I can go and create a visitor management with just few templates and quick development, which includes my expertise on Power Automate to automate lots of approvals, notification, reminder process. And second thing is how we can brand our new ways to automate the document creation within SharePoint. So I know this has been a good question and long-lasting questions from SharePoint. In Designer, we cannot do that, but with the power of Power Automate, we can take our SharePoint data to any PDF. And I have just built an example for contractor documents, or you could do it SOW, probation document, anything that you think that you need a copy to send to your vendor, your supplier, your employee. Use this solution. This is just great innovation that I just noticed. And the third thing that I'm covering in my demo is innovation around the SharePoint list item. Again, we know as a developer in SharePoint that how much hard time we have when we build a solution using some of the parent and child relationship. If it wasn't a SQL, we can just do it in primary key reference, but it's hard to handle that in SharePoint. So now with that, our SharePoint REST API connectors, right, that could gives you a possibility where you can go and write a new folder in your library. You can update any files in the folder, along with the item creation. Let me cover that in my demo, then I'll probably speak more on that part. And the most innovative part that just Microsoft Teams rolled out is lots and lots of actions and triggers are out that we can use to automate the approval workflows, workflow solutions, and maybe a reminder, right? So earlier we were relying on Outlook that, I need my manager to approve my email, or sorry, my file, my document, or could be anything, right? Now, since everything is now getting on phone and mobile devices are probably used to our managers and all the people, right? So they want those approvals to be sent to their devices wherever they are operating so that they can easily go and approve. So Microsoft Teams approval cards is a way to go forward to implement our approval solutions. And let's get away from the boring Outlook approvals that people go and click there. And then how you can bring your SharePoint files to the group chat. Let me jump into my demo real quick. All right, so here, as I told, right, I have a visitor management that I have covered in this quick example, and I have added the Power Automate actions and triggers that I have been using in this. And then I have my data is stored in SharePoint list where I can go who is visiting what time and what time we get logged out. So then I use Microsoft Teams to send approvals to my managers, to my concerned department, and then I would love to talk about a bit here in Outlook experience where you see, hey, you have appointment coming in next 5 minutes. So the same experience you can reproduce back to the Microsoft Teams with the calendaring option where you see you have a visitor waiting for 10 minutes. Then I can go and snooze my appointment. So let me just show right in the demo. So I have my form ready where I can say a visitor management form. It could be accessed through the phone and they can just probably go and scan the QR code at reception and they can start their work. So I have the data fill in already, name of the visitor, email address, and you can probably go and build your own columns. And then I say submit. What it does in the background is it's actually send a notification to my manager or to the concerned person in their Teams as well as in Outlook. And let me show you how it is. So let's just wait for the item to come. So you see now that Lalit Mohan is the name of the employee, visitor, and his email address, phone, and everything. And the notified concerned person is the person email address that I have typed it, right? So that's going to be a background work that we have to deal it, right? We can send, hey, if it's coming from IT department, send my IT manager an approval, right? So that's kind of a configuration I can show you where you can go and do it. And why, how I'm doing it. This is a quick template that you can go and start it. So when a new form gets submitted, I'm getting the response, I'm creating the item, and then I'm sending an adaptive card to my flow to the bot user. So this is the adaptive card that I'm building it in the background, which creates a bot experience in Microsoft Teams. And then I'm probably sending a next adaptive card. If the concerned person is not responding, he may wants to snooze his appointment, right? With all the details. Hey, this is a meeting room that has been booked for you for 2 to 3 hours, and you please go and ahead and have your meeting there. So that's kind of experience I'm talking in this prototype. So as you see right there, 8:38 a.m. I see that Lalit Mohan is the name, and it says visit. Please review your visitor notification. I can go and confirm my visitor. I can go and view the entry that just came to me because I want to know who is coming to me and meeting, right? So I could see my details are now right there. Since the time is constraint here, so I just have a show the experience right there without any delay. But we can set up a delay in the background where I can say, hey, I need another 10 minutes probably to remind that, and I can say snooze and I will be late. So these are the actions that we can cover and do it when we want. And one of the great experience I can tell here, when you confirm, right, many times we need our timestamp to be a part of our approval process. So here in the Teams, right, you can go and select your date and time, and you put the comment, yes, this is approved or something. Then you say, okay, so this is the experience that I'm probably talking right now. So that actually allows me to not send an email to the Outlook approval for everything, There are scenarios that we can automate within a Microsoft Teams contact. And I think this is a great way to add your solutions tomorrow whenever you need. One of the important things that I want to talk about is this particular URL, which says adaptivecards.io. Trust me, this is a great solution for all the users out, all developers out who needs the bot experience to be created in anywhere. Do you want to send a notification for the Windows machine or Microsoft Teams? So I think this is the way where you can go and set up your environment. And here I have my adaptive cards coming. So here, I have a card structure, the properties, and then I have a copy and JSON. That JSON I'm copying from here and putting in my Power Automate. So if I have to create a new card, I can go and use this as the element, containers, and structure, and then I can set up my data. So let's say I want to set up my this text, right? I just go and there and click to the structure, and then I can put a text whatever I want, and then I go in preview mode, which actually tells me, hey, if I'm approving it with the comments, this is what it's gonna open. So this is a quick experience that you can see that I have covered in demo 1, that I have my forms created. I have also the visitor management analytics coming for the current day, which an admin can go and monitor in the right side. And then I have a next thing coming from the SharePoint list where I can see all my data is getting stored, and then the Microsoft Teams approvals and the calendaring system integration with Microsoft Teams, which actually allows you to snooze your appointment. So that's it for the demo 1. Let me jump back to demo 2. Before I could move to the demo 2, I want all my attendees to probably go and write their contact number, email address, so that if they have any question, I can reach out to them separately. And the recording of this meeting will be available in Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon YouTube channel, which the sponsor will be going to share real soon. So let me quickly jump into the brand new ways to the automate document creation in SharePoint. All right, so this is a document creation page that I have covered for you guys, and you see many times we see, hey, I have my employee database, and I'll tell you my experience working with HR, and they said, hey, we need to automate few of our documents for many purposes. Let's say one is for the probation completion, the other one is an onboarding document, offboarding document. Sometimes they have contractors working for their business departments, and they need to send a final copy of the of their contract end date. So what I have covered quickly here, if you go and see, I have a hire date, and that hire date I'm going to go and tell you when I go to my hire date group by, I have one contractor ending today, right? If you see hire date, and this is a contract end date. Likewise, we can go and create as many columns we want, and we can take this employee database to the offer letter generation, to contractor document generation, to SOW document. What you all need to do is a template that you wanted to generate based on, and also a data within stored in SharePoint. So what you see here in this list, I'm sending a manager approval for contract approval in Outlook or Teams. And then I'm actually asking manager to probably approve the contractor and date. And then the data gets copied back in the contract employee list. And here HR will generate the document if they find it's good. So let me show you. OK, so let me go and tell one example quickly here. So I'll do it for one more person here, Stephen. All right, so let me do it for Stephen. And as I told you, right, I'm actually fast forwarding his contract end date here. So I have set it for 180 days, and you can do it for as many as days you want. And just a quick configuration that you have to do it in a SharePoint calculated column, which calculates your contract end date. So let me give a quick overview. What does that mean? So in a contract hire date, I have a contract end date coming after 180 days. And if you see, I have 2 dates today that the contractor is getting end. So one is the addendee, and the other one is Stephen, right? So what I expect is approval in to my manager, which gonna go and approve this. All right, so I'm gonna go and approve. Yes, this is approved, and Katie has been done. Yeah. Now, once this has done right, I go and submit. I expect a next invitation going in a Teams chat as well. So as you know, right, I have another example earlier, but as soon as I complete my approval for the person and it says, hey, here's manager, the email is in connection with the contract approval for Edney, and you have approved the contract, and also with the comments, timestamp, and their status. And if they wish to extend his contract again, they will be in touch with HR. Now, so you see how easy it is for me to set up this kind of experience, and what does it take for us to probably this. I'll tell you, when an item is created and modified in my Power Automate, I'm getting the items from the employee database to know which contract is getting and I'm comparing that with my today's date, and then I'm actually getting the contract end date from the SharePoint, and then I go to create a new item in the contractor list. Likewise, I can have n number of lists, one for offer letter generation, one for SOW generation, and everything gonna be done in centrally managed, right? So this is a way going forward. And what it does later is it sent a notification for my manager, hey, a new contractor approval notification just come to you. So I may go and confirm it right now, or I would go and probably view the item and then approve. So similar to the visitor management, right? So I have shown you guys how you can set up adaptive card as a board experience for your end users. Similarly, here manager have two options right now set up. I have set up it intentionally because I want to show you a difference. How you see an experience for a manager on Outlook perspective, where he has to come and approve the request. The same experience you can reproduce back in a Microsoft Teams. And again, this card been designed using adaptivecard.io.com, where you can go and learn about the adaptive card. So all information will be out. I will be sharing all the resources, the flows, my configurations and everything in my blogs, and I probably send it to you guys. And once I review it, I may go back and I confirm it, right? That's the experience I'm talking. And here, this is contract employee list, and you see that manager name is Lalit, and he has just put the comments from the Outlook, or maybe could be from Teams. And what HR needs to do is they will come to this person and say edit the item. Once HR will get notified after the manager approval, they will come and they will go and edit this final settlement date. But I just have a process where I see that 15 days is enough for HR. So I'm assuming that after 15 days they are going to settle out, sending out the final settlement of the person. So that's why it's taking the date for 15 days after the contractor end date. Now what I all need to do is I will go here and create a document generated based on a template. Let me go and show you. So I'm HR and I'm showing the HR experience on a contract employee list where he's expecting a documents to be generated and send it to this Outlook attachment of his personal attachment, right? Let's just go here. So you see my flow works. I probably want to give my developers a quick overview of how we have set up this. So you remember I have selected an item, then I probably get the item detail from the SharePoint list. Then I set my company logo from a template. Then I set a authorized signature of my company. And then I probably use all my data, what employee name, what is the contract end and start date, what's the final settlement date, all of the things that I have go and compose it in my Power Automate. And then I'm probably doing a file content, which hits one of my library where I have the templates created. So let me go and work and show you how this template shows. So you see, this is my template and I have my name coming of a employee, the position, the end date, and the service performed by, and my contractor information, the final settlement date, and a signature. Right now you see there's a blank template without any data. So let me tell you how we can set the variables back in the template to create our PDF document for each of the cases. So here I'm replacing this data. One thing that you have to remember, so you're going to use replace action, and that replace the content of your template with the name of the employee. If I want to infuse the email address in document, how I'm going to do is I'm going to use replace as an option, as a function, which understand the output of my template, and then it replace it with my email address. As I told you just now that you have a template, you have a lots of variables to fill in for each cases. So it converts everything, and then I have to use a current time to probably give a title of the file with the name. And then I'm creating the file back in my back in my OneDrive. There's a good question which comes to the developer mind, why you're copying the data back in OneDrive. The reason why I'm doing it, because we have a connection called convert file using a path, which only works with the OneDrive path. It could be easy if I have done only the using SharePoint, but since the SharePoint does not expose that functionality right now, so I'm producing it using OneDrive as a reference, and then I'm probably moving back to the file to one of the folder. So let me see if that is generated or not. So this is a template. This is my image of my logo, and then I have my signature coming. So you see, identity is a person name, email address, phone number, and the engineering manager, mechanical department, and his contact started is 30, ending is today, and final settlement is 12, right? 12th of a date. The same thing you're going to see in this particular document that's just created a while ago, where it says, dear Edeni, engineering manager department, email address, phone number, final settlement date, an exit interview, and a signature. Yeah. So that is one of the way that you can go and automate your document creation in a SharePoint. And I think this has a lots and lots of example. You could be having an agreement document. You have lots of, functional document, supplier document, right? So you can take it to any level where you want. I have just covered it using one SOW or contract document template. So the key here is to work on your template. And once you have a template ready, I'll tell you quick tips and tricks to handle this document. So from here, I can go and open it in a text editor, and I can probably modify the text in a template tomorrow. Because many times that what happened, people come with their own, challenges. Hey, I need to rename some of the text in the file. How would I do that? So I think we can assign this job to the business, and they can probably take care of this template. As far as they're not changing the variable, I think they're good to go and make some of the changes in the text of this template. So that ends the document creation. And what is next is I'm sending the file to the employee whose contact is getting end with the notification and attachment to them. This is great, right? I will cover in my next demo how you can send any attachment to the SharePoint list item. And here I can go and say, hey, your employment with this company is now end, as you know, whatever you wanted to say it. And then you have a documents coming up as attachment and an email as well. So this is, kind of cover all my demo in demo 2 section. So where I have spoke about employee database I have used as a reference, then I probably convert it to the contract employee list. And everything I'm doing it using Power Automate, and that's why I have given a title of my session, drive your innovations, digital journey using Microsoft 365 as a platform, but Power Automate and I think Microsoft Teams is a core of that transformation. So I hope you guys go and look out the community of Power Automate. And I think poweruser.microsoft.com, I think you go there and you have lots and lots of thought leaders and MVPs are coming and talking about their experience. So that's it there. Let me go and jump back to the demo 3. If you have any questions from demo 2, write in the chat. I can respond them later. All right, so in demo 3, I will cover quickly in demo 3, as I told, right, innovations around the SharePoint list. So I have a award form that I want my business leaders to fill in for the approval for the leadership team, and then they probably reward some money and prizes. So here I have designed it using Power Apps, and it actually runs the approval and asks for a sponsor approval, and then send an attachment as a document for review. This is where I can answer all my developer questions. I know that how you can easily send your attachment from a SharePoint list back into the attachment as an Outlook, right? So let me show you quickly. So I have filled out quickly just for time saving. I have sent everything here and I probably go and fill it out. So it's easy. You can go and customize it the form whenever you want it. I'll tell you quickly how you can do it. So from here, when you go to the new item, and here you will get an option to customize your data. And this is just a customization that I have done using Power Apps. So you can go and read more about Power Apps to probably give a look and feel to your SharePoint data. Now, once you're done with this, let me go and save it. So on a successful submission of a word, what will happen next? It actually sits in my SharePoint. If you see now in my SharePoint, I can see the details has been added, created by me, employee name, innovations, and everything has been planned. And then what I'm doing, that's the most important area from my demo 3. So I'm doing a lots of thing in one flow called demo 3. So here, when an item is getting created, I'm getting an attachment and sending it to my sponsors for approval. And I believe the email has just came to me. Notification for the award submission. So dear Lalit, the email connection with the spot award approval for Lalit Mohan, and you are requested to approve his. Now I can go and review the item again back in this list, and also I can find the award category. And here is important, find the attached document during the submission process, right? So you see the document is out there. I can go and read the same document that has been attached here. So this is the beauty of Power Automate, I would say, guys. So with the Power Automate, you can do a lots and lots of your questions. So I would say if you're looking for your answer to your question, go and look for a Power Automate, because this has all the answers that you've been getting as a developer, right? So let me show you what happened next. So as you know, I could have many attachments. So what I'm doing, I'm getting the attachment first, and I'm getting the content from each attachment, right? And this ID is the output of the attachment. And then I'm sending an email to my sponsor, and then I'm creating a file in one of my folder, and then I'm moving it. Now, this is an important aspect here. Since my item is created in the award list, I have a different folder called award, and that holds my folder as well as the document that I have been just submitted. So when I click on document link, so I think this is the place where you are doing all your uh, parent and child relationship in SharePoint with HTTP connector back in Flow. So what I'm using here, an HTTP connector, you see, there's an HTTP request that has been sent to this particular item where I'm updating the ID. So what is the beauty about it is, let me talk a little about the case here. So I have my award submitted. I have my sponsor approve the award. Now what is next? I may want the picture of the employee or maybe team who went ahead and present to some forum. So we need a process where we ask our employees to upload the supportive documents for particular award. It could be anything tomorrow, but how's the easy way for them to look for their document? So what you do here, what you see here is an automation that we have done it using JSON formatting. So when you click on a document link 17, it takes me to the spot award document library, and it tells me, hey, there is a new folder that has been created that I was telling you earlier. I have created a folder first, and then I'm getting the file properties to update using HTTP request. Now, HTTP comes with many methods. I know all the developers who work with SharePoint love REST API because REST API is the fastest and easiest way to query your data back in SharePoint. So this REST API is now available as a connection or an action for you to probably save a couple of time that you might have done it using your code, right? So here I can pass it my method and I'm probably getting the URL where my item is going to go and create. And then this content type and accept is like kind of an authorization to that connection. And then if match is by default, I keep it like, whatever data is coming, I want to send it everything. And then I'm using a merge method. So if you wish to read more about the send HTTP request, I think let me show you one of the great article that I have studied is this. So this is the place. Send an HTTP request to the SharePoint to update list. I think this will have everything that you need to know. And this covers a lots of areas that you might have asked this during this setup. So what I'm doing now is actually when I click on document link, it takes me to the folder and that folder will have my files coming. Let me tell you, yeah, this file, right? So earlier, there was a question, right? How would I send my list attachment files to a document library on a submission without me writing any code? Second question is how I easily update any file within a folder. Now, these things are really in a manual efforts, right? And I would have to go to the spot a word. I would have go and create it as a folder called Lalit and hyphen whatever ID is. And then I say create. And that's when it creates me an entry. Then I will go and upload the file. I will go and download it from the attachment like that. And then it actually go and upload it back in my this folder, right? So this is the kind of experience I'm talking when I'm probably presenting this. So using send an HTTP connector request, you can do a lot with this kind of automation. I think this is a SharePoint developer needed every time. So this is the mostly important stuff that you can go and read it out. So let me back in my word here. So automatic creation of the folder for further documents, right? That I have just shown you. So one of the connection I would go and tell you is if you go here. So one thing that I wanted to tell quickly here, you might see that this list item is having some of the formatting coming. So I want you guys to go and try this new option called format current view. And this opens up a lots of options where I will go and modify it, the information that are present in the list. I can use it, different styling, different colors, different borders, right? So you see, please just go ahead and try it out. It's just cool. And also the same way I have also done it, this document link, and those who are asking me how you can build this URL, let me quickly go and tell you how we have done it. So I'm actually calling a JSON and I'm understanding the ID that's coming to me. Let's say a 16. I think that's a ID that I'm getting here. Let me tell you quickly, 17. And that ID, I'm passing it as a filter to my next URL. So this is my URL to the document library, and there I'm passing the ID, which actually allows me to go and experience this kind of functionality. So this is it from the demo 3, and I'll probably tell you more on the parent-child relationship as I just spoke about a little about JSON formatting. So go guys and go check out the JSON formatting option in SharePoint list. And it actually has a lots and lots of innovations coming to the SharePoint list. And Microsoft just now released a new list, right? Microsoft 365 list. I'll tell you, this is JSON formatting that's works in the background and lots of other, tiny stuff that they have done in the past, right? So if you're looking for more information around JSON formatting, go and watch it out in a blog from Microsoft. I can probably send a URL later in the chat. But this is how you can probably experience how easily I can go and create a quick Power Apps and connect it to the Power Automate, and then probably take it to the next, folder creation. And then in the folder creation, I'm adding my document back. and that document is now ready, right, for us to collaborate. And let me go and show my next demo. That's on modern approval process. Again, Microsoft Teams has launched lots of actions, triggers that we can use it in Power Automate. And this modern approval process is a kind of answer to those. So if you're looking for an approval process, right, you might want to go and start your approval, and then you can probably set up your different fields. I know the approval process contains approval and approve and reject. So be innovative, guys, around the approval process. You might say approve with the final below comments, reject with this reason. So I'll tell you what I mean, but there's a way that you can go and customize your buttons that sends a notification to the manager or anybody. And then you can wait for an approval, and that approval will give you a lots of exposure to send the adaptive card to the Microsoft Teams later. So let me jump back to this quickly to give you the final demonstration on my demo 4. All right, so modern approval process and adaptive card. So let me tell you this example. Since we've been working with Spot Award, and this is the award that I've been getting, right? And let me just delete the older one from here. So from the previous demo 3, we have an item created for Spot Award, right? And I have not shown you the approval process from the sponsor. So what I need it all here, that I want my approval to be started. Then I'll tell you how much it takes us to work on a Outlook approval process, as well as the Teams adaptive card, which gives you an board experience on that particular item. So let's just go back and select my item, and I say, hey, please start my approval process. And then I will say yes. Let's just go. Right, let's go. So any item that you're expecting, right, for a notification, reminder, and approval, I want guys, you please go and check it out. Lots of innovations around that's happening on Microsoft Teams. So let me tell you what I'm doing here. So for a selected item, I'm getting the item and I'm creating an approval. So I have approval has started. So you see that Spot Award pending your approval. So this is a place where you see agree, disagree, agree with comments. But what you see in my previous example, I have only 2 buttons, approve and reject. That's what I'm asking guys, go and probably, innovate your approval process, notification process, as well as, the reminder process. So the lots and things are out and the ideas where you can go and build these solutions. So let me tell you how it is going to work. So I will say, hey, agree with comments below. Yes, that looks wonderful. But need to discuss with the team. All right, I go and submit. So here, if you see, create an approval, I'm actually setting the title, and this is a place where you go and add. So I may call it a new, and here I can say, hey, disagree explanation, and attach a copy of approval or something. So when I go and create, so there's a way that you can go and keep creating the buttons, and you can probably innovate around the approval process. And each action, whatever you create here, you have a condition coming, right? So remember, I agreed with comments just now. So here contains is a new, is a way where you can go say, hey, if my outcome contains agree, then send an adaptive card as a flow board to a user. And if not, then probably send a message to the person in the general tab or a channel with the message. So this is the area that I'm probably exploring. So let me show you how this approval process works in in a Microsoft Teams. So you see, Spot Award pending your approval is now live, and it says, hey, it's gonna be waiting for your approval, and then it go and pass it to the executive. So here I say, hey, I might want to say agree with the comments. Yes, I will put my comments and say submit, and this will understand my experience that the person is submitting approval, and then in my Power Automate, I'm getting these comments and timings and everything from the logged in user, right? And then it says, hey, Spot Award pending your approval is coming for them for approval, and then it says this pass for executive approval. So what is mean, right? It actually, if you go and see my file or see my data, it says, hey, sponsor just approve with the below comments, and that's the comment I was just probably talking, right? The same way. So if you wanted to know how we can configure that real quick, so here I'll tell you quickly. So add an action, just for instance, just for them who are new to the Microsoft Power Automate. So let me tell you what kind of availability of the actions are there. So when you say Microsoft Teams, I may want to post adaptive card or something. So here are lots and lots of actions that are coming for us to use, and I can read the brief description about them, and then I can probably work on that area. So here, once you go and add it one of the action, the most important way is passing your message parameter. And this is where I was telling you guys to go and explore more about the adaptive card templating. And this is actually a designer. Let me show you quickly from my past. This is the designer, right? Let me go back here and put it back now. So if you see the chat message here, it comes for me as an approval. So here in this one, I will redesign it based on my inputs, right? So this is the area when I go and copy my card JSON after building, I go back in my flow and pass that parameter as a message ID. But this is different, right? If you see here mine, I have passed this message, but this has a different, just a minute, let me open up that quickly. All right, so here you might need to work on your IDs and the valid parameters, because just there are some of the valid parameters that you have to delete in the designer mode here. So I think this is what I have, and then later I wanted to talk a bit about how you can bring your document from a SharePoint experience to the Teams group chat. So here, if you see, I have a document created in my award, and I have this of the document coming. And this document, I might want to probably take it to the Teams. So here, if you see, I go to format this column. I have written this code. So let me tell you what I'm talking here. So many times we see SharePoint does give you an option where you can share your files as a link to the Microsoft Teams or an Outlook attachment, or you can just simply forward from your OneDrive. But I'm talking about this experience where we need our leadership to vote and submit their ideas, or sorry, vote and rate all the awards that are coming from quarter 1. So this is a kind of one experience where we want them to start a file collaboration from SharePoint to Microsoft Teams. So how are we going to do that? Let me go and tell you quickly. That's called JSON formatting. So here I'm calling a JSON, then I'm adding an attribute, which is an teams.microsoft.com chat.user. And those of you who are new to the Microsoft Teams deep link, I encourage you guys to take a look at Microsoft Teams deep link. So Creating your deep links to the content and feature in Microsoft Teams is what is really awesome. You can go and explore more around here. And I'm building my particular requirement following this article. And this is just simple, where you are teaching the JSON, where you're telling your JSON that please redirect to teams.microsoft.com, get the current logged in name and email address, fetch the file name and say a message hi in the chat, and then it takes me to the particular document URL in the chat, and then I say start a chat with, or I would customize it a bit more. Let's catch up here. And then there are icons that are exposed by Fluid framework, where you can go and read more on Fabric UI stuff, where you can get this icon name, and then you are putting the padding, and this ask a question, you are putting a content, right? So you see what I'm doing. I'm actually having an honor field where I can go and say group chat or something. And then every time when a new folder gets created, and this has inside the file, I will go and say ask a question. Now what it does, it actually takes me to the Microsoft Teams, and it launched the chat files where I can go and start my chat. So what is that I'm doing here? A simple that I'm probably adding the href tag with my deep link concept of Microsoft Teams, and then I'm putting the title and everything. So guys, please go out and check it out. It's quite innovative in terms of, if you love Microsoft Teams integrations with SharePoint, and you're looking for, let's say, a Power Apps integration to the SharePoint, Power Automate integration with SharePoint. I think this is the session I have covered with my 4 demonstration. So let me go back to the my presentation. So I think I have covered the 4 of this part here quickly. So let me tell you the last point. So when I say bring your SharePoint file to the group chat, this is the only place where you have to go, particularly to the deep link concept, where for Microsoft Teams you will learn how you can expose your SharePoint data back in Microsoft Teams. If you wanted to know how the approval is going to work in a new adaptive card, so I think this is a place where you can go and to learn more about the adaptive card. So adaptive card will tell you how you can create a bot experience in Microsoft Teams. And this document creation really works on a template. This is important. So if, as far as you have lots of templates coming for your invoice management, or maybe your data from any functional departments, I would say store all your data in SharePoint and probably create the template, use Power Automate to convert your file, and use connections and actions from Power Automate. And the first one is the Microsoft Forms. So Microsoft Forms and SharePoint and MS Team is just great, where you can expect your market analysts to go out and sales executives to go out, get your customer data, store back in SharePoint, and probably take the SharePoint data back to Microsoft Teams as approval, as a process, as a notification. And I have shown you guys mostly in the form of chat experience, but I just wanted to tell you last thing here. Even if you go here, there is lots of channels that you can go and explore. If I work in a channel called IT for my team, right? So I may want to send in lots of knowledge articles to back in that particular channel. So you can write here channel, and you can see lots and lots of channel related actions are now available for us to use. So we are here. I mean, we can send it to the private chat experience that board. Okay, we can send the board experience to a private chat. We can send board experience to the Teams channel chat, and lots and other innovative areas that I want you to go and later explore. So that ends my session. And thank you very much for attending me. And I really look forward you guys to answer all your queries if I have any. Let me go back. Okay, prior to use Teams to store project-related document, but now we are using Teams since it provides the storage facility in File tab. Is it a good idea? Any limitation of pitfalls? Yes, absolutely. So SharePoint being a great resource where you can manage your all projects and tasks and stuff, right? But the new addition of Microsoft Teams and Planner, it gives us lots of areas us to explore. Yes, I'll come back to you. Do we have a recording of the session? Yes, the recording of the session will be available in Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon channel, and you will be getting a link to as an email to all attendees. Record demo. Yes, we'll get back to you.